Oh shit! I should. What's up, y'all? Thank you for tuning in again today. This is my 2005 BMW 545i, which I purchased about a month ago for $800. Today we're going to try and take this $800 5 Series and drag it around the tail of the Dragon and see how it does. But before that, let's back up about a month to whenever I bought this car and show you what it took to get to this point. Now, this era of BMW is called a E60. For this particular generation, I believe it went from 2004 to 2010, and this specific car has an N62 engine, which is a 4.4 liter V8. And the one thing you need to know about this engine and car combination is that this is the two most unreliable combinations that you could possibly get during this period of time from BMW. E60s are known for everything breaking all the time, and are especially known for having some really nasty overheating and coolant issues. Now, when I say that absolutely everything on this car is broken, I do mean just about everything. So this valley pan that you see in here, this holds a very large coolant reservoir, and there's piping that goes inside of that. That gasket has gone bad, and that gasket is less than a year old, so something else is going on in here that's causing that issue. The serpentine belt is bad. The power steering pump leaks fluid. I'm going to put a new thermostat in it that is a much lower temperature, so hopefully we can get this thing to run a little bit cooler. These valve cover gaskets, they are also leaking, so I got a new set of those. We're going to replace those. I need to repair the iDrive unit in the dash, which has gone bad. That controls the radio and a lot of the other car settings. It gives you access to go in and adjust a lot of that stuff. So there is quite a bit to do. Now, the first thing that I'm going to do is get as much of this coolant out of this car as I possibly can, because I don't want the neighborhood cats and dogs licking this stuff up and hurting themselves. So we'll try and get as much out of that out of the engine as we can. Now, while we've got that going, I'm going to go ahead and start stripping this stuff down. Hopefully we should get these valve covers off pretty quickly. Stripped it out instantly. F***ing idiot. Good Lord, talk about a freaking pain in the There's absolutely nothing that's easy to get to on this, except for the top row of bolts on here. Every single thing in here completely sucks to try and get access to. But I don't see anything, and the guide just says, hey, just pry it off, so if it breaks, I'm suing. She's just right there. Come on. Yeah, look at how crispy these things are. They're literally just shattering. Now we've got the valve cover off. We get a pretty good look at the valve train here, and I'll be honest with you, this thing looks pretty damn clean inside. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's get this other valve cover off and see where we end up. Let's see how difficult this thing is going to be for us to get out, because the other side was an absolute nightmare. Just like just about everything on this freaking car. Guys, I wish I could convey to you how much it sucks to get these valve covers off. They are crammed in there in a way that is absolutely ridiculous. Okay, now that we've got a lot more room to play with here, we got a lot of the electronics out of the way and whatnot, let's go ahead and get some of these bolts out of here and some of these water pipes and whatever electronics we've got remaining, and we should be able to go ahead and just yank that valley pan out of here. These bolts are really loose, and I think that might have something to do with why this brand new valley pan decided to leak. because this has been changed less than a year ago. This is not an old valley pan. This is basically brand new and it's already leaking. Okay, now we're getting somewhere. Somehow this is the easiest part of the whole thing. Oh man, it is starting to freaking rain super hard. All right, now you can really take a look at what we're working with here. See all that coolant. There's probably half a gallon of coolant sitting in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this coolant drained out of here once it decides to stop raining, and we'll go ahead and start reinstalling stuff. Now I think I see the issue as to why this gasket failed, and that is because these threads on this bolt are all gnarled up and super nasty and filled with gunk. And what that's going to do whenever you go to torque down these bolts, you're going to get the wrong reading and you're going to think that it's a lot tighter than it actually is. So I'm running this through a die right now just to clean these threads up, and I'm also going to be running a tap through the bolts on the engine, and when those two mate up, whenever the engine and this bolt mate up, it's going to give us a nice tight seal, and we're going to have very accurate readings whenever we do that. Normally I would just replace these, but I don't have any spares. So that's kind of where we're at right now. I'm going to go ahead and finish cleaning these up, then we can start reassembling this thing. Okay, so we've got our new valley pan. We've got our new pipe thingy that's going to connect it to the water pump. So I think we're pretty well good to go here. I think I got everything pretty well cleaned up. So let's slap this puppy in here. Good. Okay, so I actually, for once in my life, decided to wait and go through and get the proper tool that I need, because I didn't have anything that would go down to 7.5 foot-pounds, which is what the torque spec is on this. So it's the next day I went and got a little bit smaller of a torque wrench. So now we're going to go ahead and we're actually going to tighten these up now. The way that you're actually supposed to do this is to go in kind of a grid format. So you're going to tighten this one, you're going to go to the other side, get the completely opposite one, and then you're going to start to work your way across in between those whenever you are going to tighten these up. And the reason for that is you want a nice even amount of pressure coming down on top of this. You don't want to get all the way to the end and have a big gap there. So that's the reason why I'm doing it this way. Okay, so now I need to get these valve seals and valve covers back mounted on here. And for the record, this is about as soft as you want these valve seals to be. You don't want them cracking in half like whenever we took them out a little bit earlier. So let's go ahead and see if we can get these crammed in here, and then we'll get started on the intake. But I have a feeling this is going to take quite a while. And if you're wondering why I am suddenly underneath of the car instead of on top of the car, it's a very simple explanation for that. And that is because I make mistakes a lot. I am not as smart as I think I am a lot of the time, but this one was a pretty simple one. I lost a very, very specific bolt that I need for the engine, and it is somewhere inside of this engine bay, and I just cannot find it for the life of me. I have absolutely no idea where it went, and we're gonna have to wait on that to come in the mail. So what we're gonna do in the meantime is we are gonna swap this oil pan gasket out and do the oil filter, which this thing is leaking from everywhere, including these two spots. So we're gonna go ahead and yank these out and get those replaced. I believe that the shop actually installed the wrong oil filter housing, and that's why it's leaking absolutely everywhere in this thing. It's not going to get rid of all the oil leaks that we have, but it's going to get rid of quite a few of them. So we'll go ahead and get this thing drained and pull this oil pan off, and hopefully get some of this buttoned down so that whenever we get our mail with the part that we're missing, then we should be able to knock this thing out pretty quickly after that. But yeah, so far it's not been going super great. Oh no, it's going to overflow the pan. Dagnabbit. I'm going to need 2 oil pans for this thing. And the rest of this out here. Apparently it takes like 8 quarts of oil, which is almost as much as my bus takes. Oh shit. I should have known that was coming. That's my own damn fault. Jesus. I'm an idiot. Okay. So I have gone through here, cleaned this old oil pan up. And what I discovered was, you know, as you'd expect, there's definitely some water in there, but just regular old moisture. Nothing to be a cause for concern, but, you know, it's good to go in and just get that stuff out of there. I don't usually torque spec stuff. I don't usually care that much, but, you know, of course it's BMW. You got to be really specific about how you do stuff. I got a cut on my hand. Oh, I didn't even know there was a cut on my hand. Holy crap, that hurts so freaking bad. Oh. So the N62 engine that I've got in this car right now makes really good horsepower. It's about 325 horsepower from 4.4 liters. Now, the main problem that this engine has, though, is that it's got a label of being very unreliable because of how hot that it runs. The reason for that is that when BMW designed this engine, they got into some issues with the emissions requirements. They couldn't get it to pass emissions. How they were able to bypass that was running the engine very, very warm. It's designed to run at about 105 degrees. That's whenever the thermostat opens in this particular engine. So what I've done is I've gone out here and I have purchased a thermostat that opens at around 90 degrees, okay? That's Celsius, of course. So it's about a 15-degree difference. I don't know what that equates to in Fahrenheit, but it's a lot. The main issue is that this cooling system cannot keep up with that much heat, and it's causing gaskets to blow, hoses to fail. There's a lot of plastic pieces that are in this cooling system that are cracking and getting brittle and blowing out and causing the car to overheat and lose coolant like crazy. So I'm hoping that by going to this 90 degrees Celsius thermostat, that we'll be able to bring those temperatures down and get some more reliability out of this thing. So let's go ahead and swap this out and, you know, see what that gives us. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, perfect. This has a 105 thermostat in it. So we are going to be going quite a bit cooler here. Okay, so we've got our 2 different thermostats here. The one on the left is the old one that runs super hot, and then we've got the new cooler one on the right here. And if you look at the springs, you can tell a big difference in the tension. That's what regulates the, you know, the temperature on this. It opens and closes that valve. So we've got a lot skinnier spring on the right and a lot fatter one on the left. So it should be opening that thermostat gate a lot more and letting a lot more coolant roll through there. And just by taking a quick glance at these, the one on the left, it doesn't look old. Like, it doesn't look like it's been weathered. It still looks pretty new, but the one on the right is definitely a lot beefier and looks like a lot better quality. So let's go ahead, let's slap this in here, and then we'll continue waiting on parts to come in the mail. While we're here, we're going to go ahead and get these spark plugs changed out. It's just way easier to do with these valve covers off. And quite frankly, I don't have anything else to do until these parts come in the mail. So I was having quite a few issues with misfires. And I always wanted to do the plugs on this right after I got it. I'm not sure if you can zoom in on this and see it, but this spark plug looks terrible. Some of the other ones look okay, but for the majority of them, they are super corroded and look melted. Okay, it's been about a week. I finally have this nut that I need that stopped us from putting the entire engine back together. So now that we've got this, let's go ahead and start slamming this thing back together. Now, I have done one thing here, which I believe is going to make this reinstall a whole lot easier. I was worried about these seals coming out whenever I'm going to reinstall everything. So what I did is I just went through on the corners of this and a couple of spots in the middle, and I just put some little dabs of RTV in there just to kind of help glue this thing together. So I'm hoping that we don't have to worry about seals falling out and this, that, and the other once we're reinstalling this thing. I don't know what happened between whenever I took these apart and whenever I'm reinstalling them, but this thing went back together about 100 times easier than whenever I took it apart. All right, let's see if we can get this in one shot. I doubt it, but we will try. Oh, that was not the worst thing that's ever happened. Okay, so here's where I'm at with this thing. I have put everything back together on it that is required for it to run and nothing else. And we just want to make sure that this thing's going to crack off before we completely assemble this thing. Because if we have to take it apart again, it's going to be a real pain to get to everything we need to in order to fix it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to fill it up with oil, reconnect the battery, and we're just going to make sure that this thing cracks off, and then we'll start feeding coolant into it, making sure that it's going to hold through all the temperatures and whatnot. So let's go ahead, let's get this thing filled back up, and we'll go from there. Okay, now that went about as well as you could have hoped for. It pretty much fired on the first crank. It stayed running. It sounds pretty good. I do hear a slight noise coming from the engine, but again, I don't have everything hooked up yet. And I'm hoping that as this thing warms up, that'll start to go away. There's probably some air pockets still in the oil system and whatnot, so I'm hoping that that just kind of clears up on its own. So now that we know that this thing runs and it's not leaking oil all over the place, what we're going to start doing is feeding some coolant into this and start getting it up to temperature. I'm going to do that very, very slowly just because these seals are all brand new and I want them to bed in properly. So let's go ahead, let's give that a whirl and see if these coolant seals are going to hold together. But I do have some oil or coolant burning off that's remnant minutes from what was on the headers, or what I hope was on the headers. Shouldn't be a big deal. I still don't have anything puddling up underneath of the car, so let's just keep on rolling. But I wanted to show you guys this as we're warming up. There are no codes, which is a miracle in itself. Unfortunately, this helmet is the only way that I'm going to be able to record in the car because it's got a GoPro mount and a microphone in it. I'll have to rig something else up different for the trip. But let's go ahead, let's take this thing on its maiden journey. She feels pretty nice. I'm sure the brakes are going to be a little crunchy for a second here. Go ahead and hit those real hard. But yeah, she feels pretty good. I'm not going to take her too far because I believe the lug nuts are actually kind of loose on this. So we'll just take her down to the hospital, kind of scoop it around, give it a little squeeze. Yeah, she feels nice. She feels pretty dang good. All right, let's go ahead, let's pull her back in. Let's commence to getting this thing completely put back together. Yeah, that went pretty well. Pretty stoked about that. Okay, so I did take a couple of breaks while I was warming this thing up. Just really give a chance for those seals to really bed in and seal up really nice. We got the time, we might as well do this thing the right way. So I really don't have much else left to do with this. I gotta, put the rest of the HVAC stuff back in. I gotta put the actual air box back on, and a few of the covers. But aside from that, I only need to do two more things. I need to bleed the brakes because I am not going down to the tail of the Dragon with old brake fluid. It's just not happening. I'm not doing it. And I need to do the sunroof seal. And that's it. We're pretty damn close to just being done with this. What's up, y'all? I managed to make it down here to Lake Santitla last night, which is about 20 minutes away from the Dragon. I did have to skip a lot of stuff about how I got down here and some of the last minute stuff that I had to do to this thing in order to get it going. But it was mostly boring stuff like replacing, the brake fluid, had to swap that out, and the sunroof seal, which thankfully I did because it's been raining just about nonstop ever since I got here. I really only have one main issue, and that is the leaky oil. All the things that I thought that I fixed, I did not fix at all. They were leaking in those other spots, but I did not fix the main issue here, and I can't really figure out exactly where this oil is coming from. It's coming from somewhere in the front left portion of the engine, which could be a number of different things. So once I get back, I'm gonna have to tear that apart and see what's going on with it. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I'm losing about a quart of oil about every 100, 150 miles or so. I'm not so much concerned about the leak itself. I'll just keep filling it up. That's not really a huge deal, but it's where the oil is leaking onto, because a significant portion of it is going directly onto the headers. So every time I park this thing, it's just got a big cloud of gray smoke that comes out of the hood on this thing. And that's pretty embarrassing. It smells terrible. I'm also worried that it's, might catch on fire. So hopefully we can drag this thing through the Dragon and not have any issues. I'm a little bit freaked out about driving this thing on there because I don't want to make the problems that I've got any worse, but I also drove 6 hours down here. I want to have a good time. So without further ado, let's go ahead. Let's drag this thing the 20 minutes to the Dragon and see what she's going to do. Okay guys, I'm going to be completely transparent and honest with you right now. I am scared to death to drive this car at its current state because it's absolutely dumping oil all over the headers right now. And I'm afraid it's going to start a fire or just completely blow out, and I'm not going to be able to get this thing home. So for my own mental health, we're only going to do one run at this thing. So hopefully we can just all get it done in one go. Also, if you guys haven't noticed, I've never driven a sports car around here. I've driven a ton of motorcycles around here. I've never really driven a car through here that, you know, wasn't a rental or some kind of econo box, right? So I'm not a race car driver, nothing like that. So don't expect the world from me right now, especially with as scared as I am to drive this stupid thing. Again, we're not trying to bonsai through every single corner and just, you know, set the world on fire. It's just nice and smooth. Taking it nice and easy. We're still having fun. I'm having a great time. But I don't want it to feel like I'm in a rocket ship. I want to feel like I'm in control of what I'm doing. I don't want to be over the limit. In this spot here, she's pretty tight. Not praising. Oh my God, it is just so smelly. I have so much oil burning off of this thing. Oh, that's not good. I'm backing off. Backing off for a second. She's still running, but you guys see that massive puff of smoke that came out of the back of it? Jesus. Or it's possible that I could start an oil fire in this thing. Yeah, it seems like on my D cells, it's smoking a lot. You know, I don't think that's coming from under the car. I think that that's the valve seals. I think that's what's doing it to us. I think the valve seals are just completely smoked in this thing, which is an inconvenience. Because as soon as we, you know, give it a hard decel, using a lot of engine braking, we're getting a ton of smoke out of the back of this thing. So I'm just gonna stop doing that. Oh yeah, did I mention the traction control doesn't work? But I like this car. If we could just make this thing more reliable, I'd absolutely love it. If we could make it not pour oil, this thing would be incredible. I have no complaints at all with how this thing is handling. But thankfully, we're getting out of the sections where there's a lot of greasy parts. It's actually pretty dry through here. Oh, scenic overlook. All right, guys, we're gonna give it one rip on the way back. See what we get. We didn't blow up on the way down. It is pouring smoke, but you know, what can you do? I have every single light in the dash on right now. Every single light that could possibly be on is on at the moment. But this is a very, very nicely balanced car. I don't like this corner because it's one of the only ones where you can really see out and kind of see what your consequences are. Like, I know that this corner, I know that in my head, if I go off there, I know that it's a long, long way down, but I can't see it, so it's not real. Does that make sense? It's a game of pretend. I'm just pretending that it's not insane. I promise you, it's a ridiculous amount of fun driving here. And I am glad that I did bring the car today instead of a motorcycle, because this is a completely different experience driving a car down here versus a motorcycle. I feel like I'm learning so much more about the road. Oh, here's the gravity cavity. Kind of overcooked it a hair there. Oh, the smell is just so freaking bad, man. All right, we're coming up to the end here because there's always this tree. I don't know what it is about this tree, but I always remember this one tree, and it's just a couple of corners from the end. Like, we should go through like 2 or 3 more corners, and then we'll be right on the North Carolina border. Okay, guys, we did it. We fixed it up, we took it to the tail of the dragon, and we survived. I hope, at least. I still got to get this thing home. But we set out and did all the stuff that we said we were going to do. Didn't fix all the problems that we said we were going to, but we made it work. All right, y'all, we managed to drag this thing around the tail of the dragon without too much drama. I was definitely super worried whenever we first lined this thing up and it had all of that smoke coming off of it and it smelled absolutely terrible. But once I got out there and got into the rhythm of things, it started to feel pretty good. At no point did it feel amazing. I still had those thoughts in the back of my head that this thing might go pop at any second and I was going to be walking, 300 miles home to Cincinnati. But luckily, none of that stuff ended up happening. And I did have a good time. It was very stressful, but yeah, let me know down in the comments what you'd like to see next. Should we do another car, or should we continue this Tail of the Dragon series with more motorcycle stuff? So I'm open to do either. Just let me know what you guys think. And until next time, be safe.